Assalamu alaikum and welcome. This is Muslimah and Arsida with the MuSída podcast. Welcome back. We're going to be doing part 2 of an introduction, going over silence and suppression, more of a journey of how we got here and some of the things that we left out from the first one. So let's get into it.
Amazing. Our first obstacle is already gone, so now it's more naturally going on. Assalamu alaikum also from my side, and I am so excited for today. Deep talk as always. So let's get into it.
You want to start first, about your journey? How did you get here? What is it that made you arrive to where you are right now? What are some of the obstacles and challenges from your childhood to your adulthood?
Okay. Yes. So I I have so much to tell that I'm trying in my head to keep it chronologically, to not just go from there and there and there. Let's start with my childhood. As I mentioned also, I guess in the previous episode, that I came here actually as an immigrant daughter from 1 year old. And life was not easy growing up. We had really tough circumstances. We were a family of 4, not 4 just with my parents, but we as siblings were 4, and then my parents. It was not easy for me being the youngest with my oldest brother and my 2 sisters. I grew up with seeing a lot of traumatic flashbacks from my parents, because they literally had to come illegally for them to overcome the Sia with their kids. They really had this fear that they wouldn't make it, and also that they would lose one of us. So I can imagine also for my mom going with a baby on her shoulders. That's crazy when I think about it now that I'm a mom. Going with my children, it's just very traumatic. And then of course we grew up with a lot of challenges. We dealt with a lot of racism, because they kept telling us, the famous sentence of "go back to your country."
Oh, no.
Whenever there were discussions or anything, they will be like, "Yeah, go back. You don't belong here." The feeling of not belonging here, I already had that since I was very young, due to not, us trying to adapt to a new, different culture. Because also in my home, my parents raised us a different way. Then we went to school, we saw something else. It was a huge difference between what is going on in reality and what our reality at home was. So for me, it was constantly switching, not only between languages, but also between 2 realities. Knowing that my dad came from a very communist country before, it was for him also a very huge culture shock, and he kept raising us with those traditions that were very conservative, that were very strict. And I had no phone until I was engaged in an arranged marriage. So I literally went to school without a phone. And many times I was even scared that, what if someone harms me, especially in the winter when it was already dark very early. Even if something will happen, I could not contact anyone. So I was always going going home with anxiety, and going to school with anxiety. So the whole time I was anxious. And then
I can imagine.
Starting to become a teenager, of course, those hormonal imbalances, all these huge shifts you go through. Also identity crisis, I had a lot because I was trying to just understand myself more and know that, okay, who I want to be, what is my purpose in life. And I fell also into a huge depression because my parents, they fell sick. My dad, when I was in, I guess, my last high school year, I was actually doing my exams, preparing myself, and he actually got diagnosed with cancer. He was at a very serious stage, so for me it was very heavy. Knowing that I had no social life, I only spoke with my sisters. I did not have phone, social media, nothing. and I didn't also knew how to express my emotions, how to like stand up for myself or like take care of my mental health. I did not even like what that is. I only had to do research and everything. I didn't also see it from my parents how they took care of themselves. They were sick. Then my mom got like paralyzed for a while, and then alhamdulillah she got again back at her feet. But that period of time where I had to take care of them because my two other sisters were in arranged marriage, they were like living their own life, and of course they had it hard also on their own way when they were raising their children. My brother was at home, like he was at work very like late until late, so I was left with huge responsibilities as a
You were
teenager.
young. Yeah, you were young. I
Yes,
remember you told me that like
yes,
your older sister is out.
yes.
So how old were you? Like 6, 7? Like to give a time frame
I was, I guess, like
when you had.
the problems with the sickness for my mom started also from when I was, I guess, 16, 17 years old.
Okay.
That I
Oh,
had
so
to really
teenager.
have, yeah, that I have all these responsibilities, and I was also going myself through depression and anxiety a lot. Like
Yeah.
I kept fainting after classes. It
Oh
was like
no.
crazy. I went to sleep very late and I woke up very early in order for me to do the homework, like, the household and everything.
Yeah.
At the same time, also be a good student because I came out with good grades. But yeah, what I neglected was my
At what
own,
cost? Yeah.
yes, was my own mental health, my health just in general. And yeah, then I got, as soon as I graduated, like, alhamdulillah, my mom got better, my dad survived cancer, which I'm very grateful for. And then, like, as soon as I got graduated, my parents, they were already discussing, marriage for me a long time ago. But then it was for them the time to decide. And they were like, look, now you have to marry. You're 18 years old. Now you're going out of home. We have found two possible partners, like, and I had to just choose between the two based on pictures. Can you imagine? Like, based on
Wow. Based
pictures.
on pictures. Talk more about that. That's in your culture. Like, why did your parents feel like they had to do an arranged marriage for you? Like because you turned 18. What is that about?
For them, like, they really believed in that. It was not only them, like a lot of Albanian parents. I'm not the only one that got into an arranged marriage. Even my own sisters also, and I know a lot of families. They just thought that if I go more than 18 years old, I will be called as leftover, or I will
Mm,
be like too old to marry. So they wanted me to marry me off like as young as possible, because it was like it was a kind of sign of good reputation, to be, how can I say, to be feeling good in front of also other families. Because when I said like I'm not ready, they didn't care, like not didn't care in the sense of bullying me, but just we're like, no, this is our rule and you have to follow it. Like, your
yeah.
two sisters had an arranged marriage, you will do the same.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like, people now ask me a lot of, why didn't you speak up? Why didn't you use your voice? And I was, how could I use my voice? Like, I was already raised in a lot of obedience, in the syndrome of good girl, and I could not speak
Yeah.
up, and I should obey whatever they are saying. For me, it was like, yeah, whatever.
So it wasn't consensual. It was more of like you're doing it because your parents say do it.
Yeah, because
The
I said
marriage.
I'm not
Okay.
ready. Like, I said my own part, I'm not ready. Like,
And
please,
that's not
can I
even
wait?
Islamic. Yeah.
Yeah, can I wait, or can I go into with a university? And they were like, no, you have to marry. You just can choose one or two, like one of the two. And then I had to choose based on pictures. It was
Oh my goodness.
crazy.
How was that? Like, let's get into that a little bit. Like, I'm curious. You having to choose between two pictures. What was going on in your mind?
Crazy. That was for me like the most. People can say like, why wow, she's making bigger than it is. But for me, it was really traumatic
Yeah, I
because
can imagine.
choosing on two pictures, how can you know, like, and even
Yeah.
I that really always loved criminology and everything about psychology, I was like, yeah, this guy may seem very kind, and because I only had one picture and the description of my brother, of this guy, of both. My brother knew both guys, so he just said to me like, this guy is like this, he has this lifestyle, this other guy has this lifestyle, you can choose.
Oh, so you didn't even get to court him or anything, like see them in person
No,
first? Like,
no. I
okay.
just had to choose between, and then the one that I chose, I had the chance to go on a date, but a date with my family with it,
What,
not me
just
and
your
him
parents or
alone.
like more?
So we were like, when I choose my now husband, but that was a decision that I really had to put off my emotions.
Hmm.
I really had to be like analytic, like analyzing. And when my brother told me, like, I don't want to go into the details because, you know, due to the privacy history of that other guy, family stuff and everything. But I was like, okay, this guy seems for me more like a calmer person. And knowing that growing up in Albanian culture, finding calm man is not something, you know,
Yeah.
that can be found so easily. So I was like, girl, think of your future. Think of the long term. Like, don't think about like all these other stupid things. Think about who is the most calm here.
Yeah.
You know? Because knowing that growing up with a lot of issues, I had to at least change, the cycle. But then I called my sister because she knew him. She was like, me and my sister, both our husbands are cousins.
Oh, so you're talking about your husband now. You're not talking about the arranged marriage from where you
Yes,
talking
the
about?
arranged marriage. Like
Okay.
my husband right now is the cousin of the husband of my sister.
Oh, okay.
So he is. It's a little.
Because I got confused. I was like, wait, are you talking about the husband now or the husband from the arranged marriage? Those are two
No, no,
different
no,
ones, right?
no. It's the same husband. Like
Oh,
I'm right now with him.
oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay,
I'm
that's
with
my
him.
fault.
Yes, but
Okay.
Alhamdulillah, like I
Alhamdulillah.
had chance. Like I got lucky that like
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't turn out how I thought because I was so anxious. I was the day that I said to my father, like, I chose this guy, and he was like, okay, he was like very chill. He was, oh, great, we're gonna do like a date and let's meet each other. And then my heart was beating. I was like, oh my God, this is the first time, like, from being isolated, no phone, being
Yeah.
raised as a really communist girl, like very conservative, and like everything has to be obeying my parents. And like my brother was not like that. My brother had really the modern life. I was the kind of isolated, you know, stay at home girl, doing only the study, the household. And then when I went into the date with my right now husband, girl, it was so like I was anxious. Oh my God, from going from never talking to a guy to just sitting now in front of a guy that I don't know.
Like a stranger. Yeah.
And even as
Complete
a
stranger.
neurodivergent, I was freezing. I was like completely,
Yeah.
I was so awkward. But what I truly, alhamdulillah, value a lot in my husband, also at that time, that he really made me feel safe.
Okay.
He really had that calm aura. And that is something that immediately made me also be a little bit more, you know, not,
What a blessing. You were
yes,
protected
not
out of all.
not kind of direct have my defenses up to protect myself, but still I had a lot of panic inside, a lot of questions, because I knew also that maybe he's just doing something to, you know, to just be the good guy, to have my attention. And yeah, like I could not trust him at all. I could not even trust myself, so how could I trust him?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot of things. Then as soon as I got into, like, we were how can you say, we were then engaged, like 1 year and a half before marriage. We were just like having this huge misunderstanding with my parents, because I asked them, I want to do nikah with this guy. I can't like do the normal engagement that a lot of Albanians do,
Yeah.
because like they can be Muslim in name, but they don't practice like nikah and everything.
Yeah, like the
Not,
Islamic marriage, nikah,
yes,
the
not
Islamic
everyone
marriage.
does that.
Yes.
So I really had to beg my parents, and they were not so, like, you know, pro into these things. They were Muslim by name, but not like too, you know, informed about all the rules that
Oh,
Islam
okay.
has, that you cannot touch, you know, someone that is not your
Husband.
husband. So yeah, it was a lot of roller coaster thing. I even asked my fiance, I was like, I don't want to touch I don't want to do nothing 1.5 years. And he
Okay.
was like, first also shocked. He was like, what are you
You
talking
said for like
about?
1 year, right? So
Yes, one
within
year
that
and a
time
half.
frame, were you able to like develop feelings and all of that? And then it became like consensual after, like after you got to know
Um,
him?
like it kind of happened in the old school way, and I really love
Yeah.
that because we like had on the evening, because I had no phone, I had to call with him through the phone of my dad.
Yeah.
But alhamdulillah, he had like this, FaceTime and everything. So I could kind of do FaceTime with him. But still, like in the beginning, I guess the 6 months were really like for me so difficult. I had to really allow myself to lower my defenses, to kind of allow him to get to know me, because I said he had this really calm aura. Otherwise, I wouldn't be like this. It would have gone longer.
Yeah. You had time to soften into it too. Like you said, you had that
Yes,
time to soften into it.
yes,
That's a
yes.
good thing. That I'm glad that you wasn't able to like rush into it, because I hear some people like just rushing it. You meet the person the first day, you get married that first. I know
No,
like in
no,
some
no, no,
cultures when they have
no.
arranged marriage, reading
Hmm.
on it, it's like they get married the day they meet them. So
Hmm.
that's
No, I even made it clear to my fiance at that time. I said, if you don't wanna like accept this, that I don't want to have any touching of, or just
yeah.
going further. And he said, like in the beginning, he was shocked. He said, "But why? Is there someone else?" And I was like, "This has nothing to do with someone else. It's just that I don't trust you. How can
Yeah.
I like allow my body to be yours
Yeah.
when I don't know you?"
Yeah,
you
like
know?
a strange. Yeah.
How can we do that? And also the Islamic aspect, of course, the most important. And then he really agreed. And yeah, then he was doing his best to make me feel comfortable. And he kept his promise. He never provoked me, or he never kind of like was, how can I say, he was never rude or disrespecting my boundaries. Never. Like
Yeah.
this is something, alhamdulillah, that I'm very grateful. And then of course,
Yeah.
after 1.5 years, I got into a real, also Albanian traditional wedding. But then after the wedding, my girl, once I got into a safe like space, how can I say, like I changed homes,
Yeah.
that is where I fell sick. And then for
Oh, you meant from
me,
your parents' house to his house.
yes, and then I fell sick. Then all my illnesses started coming up. My irritable bowel syndrome, my right kidney that is dysfunctional, started becoming crazy. It was really like a hospital moment for me, like from the beginning until 3 years, 4 years later. In these
Yeah.
4 years, I was only going hospitals in and out. I even had to stop working. I studied still, but I could not go outside. I was literally called disabled medically. I could not like stand for example, how people work from 9 to 5. I could not do that.
Yeah.
For me, it was like too much, unbearable.
But you definitely felt safe. You know, we talked about that before in
Yes, I
live about.
felt safe, but still, also with him, I had my own issues, of course, because the thing is that when you meet like a very healthy masculine man, when you grow up in a very toxic and abusive mentally and physically home, he can feel even as a threat
Yeah.
because you're not used to it, and you're easily to run away from it. And every time he came closer to me or he wanted to give me affection, I wanted to run away because I was like, no, this is not, I don't feel like, how can I say, I don't feel familiar with this.
Yeah. Your nervous system was so used to the chaos that once you had
Yes.
safety in your life, you didn't have the capacity to hold it. It was like suspicious. A
Yes.
lot of people deal with
Hmm.
that. Yeah. That's
It was
the
crazy.
true struggle, right? Like going in from unhealthy relationship to a healthy relationship.
That's
Like you
crazy.
said, you just want to flee.
Yeah,
This
but
is,
the first moment when we had a discussion, when we had a fight, like when the couples have these discussions, I just said I want to go to my parents' home, and he was like, "What? Why?" And I was like, "No, I can't stay here." I was like going back to where I was used to.
so did you go back? Like, were you going back?
Many times, many times. It was crazy, like many times, because I didn't know. And it's sad because even going back to my parents, I did not even feel home at there. So I was still trying to find out for myself, what is home? Where can I find it? Of course, we know that going back to ourselves is the real home. But in my
Inside you,
mind, I
yeah.
was struggling between, is this my home, like for my parents, or is it this my home for my husband? And this shock was constantly like going, ooh, my brain
Yeah.
doing all these things. But then I also got into like a very toxic situation with someone very narcissistic, beside like my husband. Like I don't want to go for privacy reasons, but just it was crazy because that was for me the last, how can you say, the last drop in the bucket that all made it overflow.
Oh, the last drop in the bucket. That is the saying.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I translated from Dutch, so I hope it
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
It is just
No,
when
I
things
heard of it
become too
before.
much. Yeah, it become too much because dealing with narcissistic abuse. Not that I was not dealing also in my parents' home, but this was another kind of. It was
Yeah.
more extreme, and that made me really awaken a lot of things inside of me. That made me break down. That made me hit rock bottom, and that was also and that is why I also made my book about all these dark thoughts and how you can overcome them, because I faced then a potential divorce. I was like done with marriage. Like I was
Yeah.
really done with marriage. Not that my husband was not trying, but for me it was too much. Like, you know,
Yeah.
coming from an arranged marriage, not even having a lot of things to say yourself, being forced into it was for me like seeing the consequences of it every day. And until I just one moment I could not endure it anymore, and I said to my husband, I want a divorce. I just I had a mental breakdown in a hospital.
Oh no.
And then when my husband came visiting me, he was like, what's wrong? And please tell me what's going on. Like, you're dealing with things with your own, like you're not even talking about it. And then I was like, no, I just want to have a divorce. And of course he did not give up.
Oh, so he didn't even know like what was going on. Like a lot of stuff was
No.
just internally.
Yes, internal.
Like
Yes. And I
you didn't
was,
feel safe to like express it to him. Like,
yes.
okay.
And knowing also as neurodivergent, you know, we have this high masking. We cannot easily like show all our deepest stuff
Yeah.
going on. We really have to have the safe person or safe situation. And for me, right at that moment, he did not feel safe, even if he tried to. But for me, I was not familiar with what being peace, what peace is, and what home feels or safe feels.
Yeah. So you still had that armor built up, that guard.
Yes. But I kind of switched details. Like this divorce thing happened when, after my first daughter, when I gave birth to her, I also had like postpartum depression. And you know how things can get very heavy in postpartum depression, that you really can disconnect from your own body.
Yeah.
And that was for me like also the link to divorce, that I really felt alone. I felt not understood. And my husband, to be honest, did also not know too much about mental health. So whenever I tried to open up, he tried his best to listen, but he could not understand at the level where I wanted to be understood. As we also mentioned in our previous episode, that we can understand a lot of people, but not everyone can understand us
Yeah. About
on that
communicate.
depth, on that level. So for me, it was like, okay, I have, as I said, never have felt that I belonged somewhere, or I already felt alone since being a very child. And then becoming a mom was for me too much. Like, not too much in the sense that I didn't want my child or didn't want pregnancy, but for me then it was my breaking point.
So when did it shift, like the change, like that y'all both got on the same page and everything started to work out?
Well, the fact that like my daughter was like I gave birth to my daughter even when I was in the most darkest time in my whole life. Like, it was crazy how I even had like suicidal thoughts. It's really
Yeah, I know
but
those.
when I think about it, I'm smiling and laughing. But once I was really like even considering many times doing it. Alhamdulillah, I did not like it was not succeeded, but for me, thinking as a mom, having suicidal thoughts was very like, wow, I felt guilty. I felt like, am I even a good mom? I
Yeah.
love my daughter to death. This has nothing to do with,
Yeah. It's just the feeling is so unbearable. It's how
Yes.
it feels in that moment. Did you attempt to it or you just had like thoughts?
Yes, I had attempt many times. Wow, even speaking
Yeah.
about it now, it's kind of heavy.
Yeah.
But it was like, I don't want to go into too much details to not
Yeah.
trigger also the audience listening, but it was many times. And the scary thing is that even my sister didn't know about it. It was nobody like knew about it. It was me and my dark demons. How can I
By
say?
yourself. Yeah.
Yes, it was me fighting them every single day. But still, alhamdulillah, and I'm getting emotional here. But my daughter, she was always my light. Amira was always my light. She was that baby that looked at me with her eyes, and she always looked at me. She couldn't talk, but I kind of felt the message in her eyes that don't do it. I don't know, like I had this instinct then whenever I looked at her, and I was like, no, I can't do it. I was like, who will take care of her? Or, these kind of thoughts that,
Yeah, she gave you like that sense of purpose to keep going.
yes. And I was like, no, for her, I will keep going. And then I got into a huge, another breakdown. And then there was my husband also present. My daughter was my oldest. I then went to the hospital with a heart, how can you say? It was like I went into really heavy hyperventilation. And
Okay.
then they really had to do this, how can CPR.
Oh, wait, so did your heart shut down or something? Because once you start doing CPR, it's kind of like your heart stopped.
Like, I don't remember like a lot of things at that moment, but it's just that I went to the hospital with a lot of extreme hyperventilation. I even like started to become blue, and like I was like really losing it,
Oh, wow.
everything.
Okay.
Yeah, because also I had also other health conditions, so it was a kind of bottling up. And then I remember the machine, like the device
Yeah.
kept doing this kind of,
Like
this
flatlining.
noise. Yes, it that I was almost losing myself, like losing my
Yeah, because that's
pulse.
what you're going like that. So that's like flatlining. You had the
Yeah,
up and
that
down.
I had like this almost losing of my pulse. And then I remember, because my husband was holding my oldest daughter in his arms, and I remember seeing her blurry before I really got black. Like I saw everything black. And I remember the nurse telling me in my ear that she said, do it for your daughter. She was like, look at me, try to look at me, try to nod with your head or follow me with your eyes, she said, because you have to keep fighting for your daughter. Look at her, she's looking at you.
Yeah. Oh,
And then at that moment, like it was really a battle between, should I give up or should I go on? Because
yeah.
depression did not only start when I gave birth to my daughter. It was all way before, but it's just that
Before,
I didn't knew it was there already. It's like this dark monster that became bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until I didn't see anymore my own life. I only saw that monster, and my whole vision was blurred. So
yeah.
alhamdulillah, of course, I chose to fight and to go on with life, because otherwise I would be here and I wouldn't even have written that book. So
Yeah.
my book is also for me a proof that I overcame that. Um, and yeah, I'm really thankful for being a mom, because I didn't think that. Oh, how can I say? I will not be sure if I will be here if not for being
Yeah.
a mom.
Our kids keep us going.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes I think
alhamdulillah,
about that.
God sent her me as truly a
And
light
then,
in my darkness. And yeah, then for me, gradually the healing journey started coming, because I was really figuring everything out. My husband then again, he tried constantly to prove to me that, look, I'm not wanting to hurt you. I don't want you to feel alone. Look, we're gonna go through this together. You matter to me. And yeah, he didn't give up even when I wanted to. So
oh, he was a stable
yeah.
constant in your life when you didn't have that
Yes, I'm
consistency.
also thankful for that, because Yeah. Like, you know, I was already living with that fear of death for my dad almost losing him to cancer. That broke me really as a daughter. Um, so that was also a good reminder for me to not do it, to not do suicide, because I was like, remember how you felt with your father.
Yeah.
Don't allow her to feel the same. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm being a little bit emotional. It's okay. Like, I
That's
just want to
okay.
be very
Allow.
raw and very real with the listeners also to know that please don't ever do it, because whatever reason you have, keep fighting for it.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is, even if it doesn't make sense for anyone else. If it is just as little, you know, how you can think of, please keep fighting for it. It can be your
Yeah.
child, it can be your pet, it can be like, it can be a how can I say, like, I'm not coming into something right now, but whatever reason you have, please, please, please keep going.
Such your
And you
greatest
will, you,
pain. Yeah.
yeah, you won't have this quick fix. It's not that the solution will come in front of you, but start walking. And that's what I really did. I started walking, then running, then, you know, going finally to that breakthrough, because then I met my amazing mentors, Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi, which
Yeah,
really
they're
got
good.
me into that breakthrough to overcome all these limiting beliefs, to really kind of shut down this terrible version of myself before. And I found myself again, because when you hit rock bottom, you then again found yourself. I'm
Yeah.
very like thankful for this beautiful journey, even when there was so much darkness, because if I wouldn't have gone through all this darkness and all this most like extreme stuff, because I also endured like physical abuse. It's not only that, yeah, all these things. But
Yeah.
we will dive deep into that in our episode about how consequences are physical abuse.
But
But yeah,
yeah. Your
then
greatest pain is usually the pathway to your greatest blessings. Like the obstacle is the
yes,
way. So like
yes,
all of the darkness you went through, now the light, you get to carry that torch for other people who are in their
yes.
darkness. So yeah.
So yeah, then I started finishing also my studies. I was finishing my last year. I was doing a specialization, I guess, into coaching. And then, yeah, I set up my social media account. I kept learning, reading books, getting into all personal development, healing more. I met also wonderful people that all did their own parts. So, yeah,
Okay.
then
What year was this that you started like your social media? You started opening?
5 years ago.
Oh, so like when you first started, it's kind of around the time I think I met you, because when I met
Yes,
you, I was still in the beginning of my healing journey. I was kind of like healing out loud a little bit, showing snippets and pieces.
yes. Hmm.
Okay.
So, yeah, like, guys, I wanted to just to be real. Like, sorry for my tears, but
Don't
it
don't
had to come
apologize
out.
for your emotions. You don't have to apologize for your emotions. We
Yeah,
need
because
more of
people are always
that.
used to see me smile and everything. So
Yeah, expression. You have to express it and let it out. I think we have
yes,
come to this like condition. We always have to suppress it. Oh, don't cry, but crying, like,
but
it
I just
releases
also want to
hormones.
make
Yeah.
this clear that this never made me love my daughter less. Even if I was in my darkest time, I loved and I cared for my daughter. I can like even not describe it. Even when I was sick, I hold her everywhere with me. Like, I
Oh,
never want
yeah.
her to ever think that she wasn't loved or that she was not seen or heard or whatever. Like, she was my priority for everything. Even though I was
Yeah.
going through all this darkness. But yeah, it's
Thank you for sharing such a vulnerable story with us. That is a lot of courage and stuff, and that's a
yes.
lot that you've been through. I know you've been through a whole lot, and I'm so grateful that you're here and that you get to share your gifts and talents after all of that.
Thank you.
Whew, just kind of digesting a little bit of that.
I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah,
a lot of energy.
and even like when I'm thinking about like my own darkness, usually I talk about it without like emotion, and that's um from masking too before, and I still do a thing like that. I feel like I still mask a little bit on the outside because there's something like all I've known. And even though usually when you feel safe, right? When you feel
Yes, I
safe in
just
your
wanted to
home, when
say
you're
that.
safe around people, then you let your guard down a little bit.
Hmm.
And I guess maybe knowing that this is a camera and that there's a lot of people listening. But okay, about my journey. I think we're going back to the childhood, right? I grew up. I mentioned already I was born in Saudi Arabia, but I don't really remember much about that time. Yeah, so my journey mostly began when I was in New Jersey. So I'm like a Jersey girl, East Orange, New Jersey, and which is kind of like the hood, the inner city. I grew
The
up in there.
ghetto.
Yeah, and my daddy's an imam, so I always lived down the street from the masjid, like literally down the street, probably a 5 minute walk, 5 to 7 minute walk. And I went to school there as because it was a masjid and it's Islamic school. So I literally went. Well, there was another building before that. It was called like IDS, Islamic Day School, and I think I was there from kindergarten to second grade, and then I moved. And then from like third grade to 12th grade, I went to this Islamic school.
Mm-hmm.
And it was mostly a mix of Black Americans, some Palestinians, Egyptians. Yeah, so it was like Arabs and Black people. And that's basically the shelter I was in. Like, I didn't get to go to the mall with my friends, really. I spent most of the time in the library. I love the libraries. I could barely go there sometimes. I remember my mother wanted my brothers to go with me to the corner store because I literally live across the street from the corner store, almost not across, but like down the street. It was like the corner store and then like the masjid down there. So, and I would say growing up, I didn't grow up in much, we didn't have the terms that we have now, but I know one of the things was I didn't have a lots of affection or anything. I don't remember seeing affection between my parents. So when I got older, one of the things I realized was I had emotional neglect. And that
Mm-hmm.
is a form of abuse,
Yes.
because children need a certain amount of affection, and that's a part of like your needs, your psychological needs. And they even have research and studies that show that when a child doesn't have like affection and how it decreases parts of their brain. But then also, you grow up because you didn't get that affection. Now you just crave it from anybody, right? That you get it from. Um, Definitely there was some physical abuse, like spankings and stuff, like with a wooden stick and things. Because I was the eldest, I'm the oldest of nine, so it was kind of like, well, you're the oldest, so you get in trouble for things. Yeah, I remember my dad come charging at me once, and it was just like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Why am I getting in trouble for something I don't even know? Like, just because I'm the oldest, like, I'm not God, I don't know everything. I was even there. What are you talking about? Or like, I saw you looking out the window. Like, what? I remember that one time, like, I saw you looking out the window, and I was like, what? No, I wasn't. And even if I was looking out the window, right? But for the most part, I was that, like you said, that good girl syndrome. I was that good girl.
Yeah.
Um, I love school. He thought I was crazy. I remember my dad said that to me, like, who loves school? But I used to love school. And I think that's kind of what kept me sane. I used to love to read books because that was my way of like escaping the reality of.
Yes.
And do I want to talk about this? Let me see. Okay, so because I feel like I didn't have an emotional connection in my house, I did um get into like a relationship with a boy.
Mm-hmm.
In Islam, that's with that boyfriends and stuff. And it wasn't nothing like serious. It was just like, I think he gave me a bag of those little gums. It's like chiclets or something. I was like in fifth grade. We never did anything. It was just kind of like a status thing. And
Yeah, I
people
know.
knew it for a while. And it lasted for quite a while. Like I said, we didn't do anything or anything. It was just very innocent, like just boyfriend and girlfriend. And people knew in the school. But by the time I got to 10th grade, this one, everything shift. My neighbor, I don't know if you can say stuff like that online, like the R word, like
What?
RAPED.
Oh.
But like I was assaulted.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I was, yeah, by my neighbor.
so sorry.
And I was 16 at the time. I tried to tell my boyfriend, like quote unquote boyfriend, and he told a classmate who was like, "Oh, you're gonna believe her." It became a whole thing.
Oh
Some
my
people
God.
knew, and I've never felt so humiliated in my life because it was like, here I am coming to you, telling you about something that's very vulnerable, and then you tell other people, and then
God.
you listen to them, right? So yeah, that became a moment where we broke up because I wasn't a quote unquote virgin because you got to be a married virgin
Yeah.
things. And so yeah, I became parasuicidal. I would say that because it wasn't like I knew I wasn't going to take it, but I had lots of thoughts. I wrote like probably, I think I typed like a 4-page letter to him because I needed clarity and understanding about the whole situation. And I still do stuff like that now, as far as just me being like this analytical person.
Yes.
And so I had that in my book bag. It didn't even get to him because my parents found it.
Oh no.
And I was like, why are they digging in my bag? I have no
Oh my
idea what
God.
made them go into there, but they dig in their bag. And it's like they skipped everything. They didn't even mention nothing about the suicide, nothing. It was just like why you have a boyfriend in the first place. That was all that mattered. Yeah, so I think at that point, that's when I first remember becoming numb. Oh, because I had anger issues before too. I didn't even know. Like I talked to my sister, she's like, "Oh yeah, you was always angry. You was lashing out."
Yeah, but there's a
And I
reason
do
behind
not.
it.
I have no memories of that really. And that's the thing too. I have like selective amnesia from my childhood. I dealt with some things, so my brain canceled a lot of that stuff out. And I
Yes.
know that's a protective
Usually that
mechanism
happens a
to
lot.
protect me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I just remember looking into the mirror one day. It was like F all of this, and
Oh.
then I started getting into holistic nutrition. That's what saved me
Mm-hmm.
because it was like I hyper focused. That became like an obsession. Started learning about nutrition, healed my eczema. Yeah, everything was just about health, holistic nutrition. And I was
Yeah.
thinking like, and then I
Mm-hmm.
noticed my anger went away, even though I didn't know I was angry, but I felt like a calmness. And that's when like the facade came over, like this toxic positivity. And I knew when something changed because I remember going into the lunchroom once and this girl had a broom and it fell on my head. And like, I felt like it just, everything got quiet. And I was just like, excuse it, because like it was a mistake. Because I think the past me probably would have like started something, right? Um,
Raising on the gutterhood.
yeah, I think I probably would have gotten into like a fight or something. But I had that balance though. Yeah, I haven't had a lot of fights or anything like that much. But that's when everything changed, shifted for me. Is I became like this really calm person, and but it became more like when I look back on how I say it was toxic positivity. It
Yes.
was just armor,
Mm-hmm.
another armor. By the time I got into college, more sexual assaults. Um, yeah, I had a few. Um, this is like sexual fawning. It just, yeah, I have no idea how I got into the situation. One was
So
actually at
sorry.
work. It was at work. I remember.
So
It was a
sorry.
guy who was supposed to be a friend. He was not really a friend, but just like a coworker. And the fire alarm went off. So everybody was leaving the building. And I'm in there and he closes the door. He's like he's fat. He's huge. And like he like lays on me and all I could smell was like I don't know what ham smelled like, but all I can remember was like ham and cheese, if that makes sense.
Oh my
And I was
God.
just like and but nothing happened. Then I'm just so grateful that didn't further go because I think people started to come back in. But it was just like men just be doing anything with anybody, nowhere, like in the workplace.
It's oh my God.
It just and but before I even got into college, I was in the EOF program. So this is that program before college, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is when so they wanted all of the students to be on campus there, but my parents were like, my dad mostly was like, no, you stay at home. So I literally had to
Yes.
wake up early in the morning to go there and come back late at night. I was the only one who was on campus.
Yeah.
One time he showed up, him and all my siblings, and I was just like,
Oh
what?
my
Like it was so
God.
I felt so embarrassed. I was trying to like walk away from it's like
I
no. I
know.
was like, you were in my life most of the time. Like you didn't really care about me in the whole like high school, whatever. But now you want to just pop up, like
It's
you feel like a
control.
stranger to me. So it was just
Yeah.
so awkward. One time I came out of class, it was a math test, and I see my dad. I'm like, why are you here? I'm calling my mother. I'm like, why is he here? Like, why is he following me? I don't like the way this feels. It was just, yeah, it was so awkward. But okay, so at the end of that EOF program, before going to the actual college, they
Yeah.
had a banquet to celebrate all of the students for completing that
Uh-huh.
summer program. And it was at midnight. It was about midnight, and they had a fashion show. And I
Mm-hmm.
just love fashion and being in fashion, and I
Yes.
wanted to be in there. I wore like a dashiki. It was an African dress.
Oh,
It
so
was,
nice.
and I had a scarf. It wasn't covering my neck, but it was like wrapped on my head.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so we're like on the stage doing whatever. And then
Oh.
my friend tapped me. She was like, "Is that your parents?" She saw my dad and mom. through the window, and I was like, oh my
Stalkers.
goodness, busted. Like, like busted. And then so I go out that night, and then my counselor, my guidance counselor, is there with my parents, and he's like, basically, is my way or the highway, like, because I don't accept this stuff. And me and my quote unquote stubbornness and hard headedness chose the highway. Didn't even know where I was gonna stay or nothing. And then so I'm so grateful I had a friend there. She told her mom. I ended up staying with her.
Oh
And
my
from
God.
then out, I was just like bouncing from house to house. And then I became homeless at one point, was
Oh my
staying
God.
on the campus, using the gym there. And then, oh my goodness, I had a bad experience with the gym because I'm like on a treadmill and I sent somebody to look at me. I turn around, there's two guys just watching me. And yeah, you don't catch me at a gym no more. And it was
Girl, you have been through so
how I
much.
said,
Like the light you're
um,
shining right now, I can't believe
yeah,
it. Like, wow.
I was homeless there. Met a guy there because that's another thing. I don't usually just meet people through like it's always like through some type of intellectual stimulation or something like that or
Yes.
mental. So I think we were talking about like conspiracy theory and stuff like that. That became like a very toxic situation.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, let me see. How did I get to now? And then okay, yeah. So this is 3 years into the college. That's when I met my kid's dad through Facebook, like a poetry group. We were in a poetry group. I think I know
Oh.
him of him for a year. And then I started to question my faith. Like I started to read about hadiths. It was like I came across Quran
Ah.
only. And you know that I don't know if you know about the Quran only. It's kind of like because some of the hadiths
Yes.
are false and
Yes.
trying to distinguish what is like
Yeah.
truth from
Mm-hmm.
falsehood, right? And it's like we know that the Quran is we know that it's without error, but the hadith is questionable. So I'm like,
Yeah.
here I am on Facebook now questioning hadiths, and like people are like, oh, you're blasphemous, you should not be questioning this stuff like that. And he was the only one who actually acknowledged talk. I don't know how much of that was a game or anything, but yeah, he was the
Mm-hmm.
only one who started talking about it. We started talking about that, and that's kind of like how we basically met through that discussion.
Uh,
And yeah, I was modeling again. That's another thing. Yeah, because I did a model there at college. It was with I'm trying to figure out, I think it was called Flash and Light. And one of the girls from America's Next Top Model, Brianna, was there, and then it was like a child model. I think Diva, Dana the Diva the Vanna or something like that. But I don't know.
mm-hmm.
It was pretty
Yeah.
cool though, which is crazy because I'm usually a shy, reserved person, but it's like once I get on the stage, it's like I don't see anybody, and
Yes.
it's like I'm in my essence a little bit.
It's your passion and your
Yeah,
talent.
but then also as I tried to get into it, the more I met like photographers, and I was kind of like it was going really fast, and then I think I was at one show, and then the woman had all robes on, and they were just like opening the rolls so the fashion designers could see what body put on, and I was like, absolutely not, like absolutely
Oh,
not. This is what happens
yeah.
behind stage. Like no, you know, like I still have some type of values and stuff like that. This is just not
So
me.
what did he
Um,
ask to do?
like so behind the stage you have like a robe on, and usually they want you to have like
Yes.
a new color, just literally underwears and bra on, and they see
Ah.
which body they will fit. Well, at least in
Oh.
this type of show, and it was just like no. And I'm just grateful. I had a long beaded dress on, like this yellow scarf around my neck. My hair was out.
Yes.
But and then so how me and my kid's dad met was actually because he thought he saw me online. He was like, he asked me, do you have tattoos? I said, no, I don't have tattoos. Why? He's like, I could have sworn I saw you. I'm like, no, because I'm so grateful that I didn't grace that stage that day, because I think I was supposed to have enough tickets from someone to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's how we hashed it out and met in person. Long story
Wow.
short. And
SubhanAllah.
then it was through that marriage. And then it was like I moved from New Jersey to Texas with him,
Mm-hmm.
there for 7 years, and then moved to now I'm in Georgia. But it wasn't until like 7 years into the marriage that I started to feel like something was off. I remember I was pregnant with my daughter, and I was like knowing about how much debt he was in that I didn't know, because he used to
Oh,
say, oh, don't worry about money, knowing as he knew from the beginning, like I was an entrepreneur, that I like to have my own money. Like,
yes.
like I like to do something. This is just
Of
me and who
course.
I am.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of like, I'm the man, I'm the provider. You don't have to worry about working. And so, for a while, I just kind of like, okay. Like,
Yeah, you believed that he won't
yeah,
provide me.
but I
Yeah,
still was doing stuff from the side. I can't help but just do like dabble into
that's
things.
being
Like,
smart.
yeah, I just
That's
I
being
just
smart.
like I need to express certain things, and I have these visions and this being a very ambitious person, right? But I was pregnant with her, and then that's when I started my first business, like reselling. I used to always thrift, and I still do, but I was like, oh, people can resell their clothes. I knew about like all the discounts and everything, and so
Yeah.
I started selling stuff on Poshmark and eBay. And then I'm still processing, like my soul is starting to wake up at this point, but I don't know exactly still. So it's coming out as complaints. So if I'm talking to like
Oh.
a friend or something, it's coming across like this is happening. She's like, oh, that sounds normal. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
no, it's just like you got to be there, like some,
Yeah.
especially I think it's because I was dealing with covert. So if you dealing with like covert hitting abuse, like when you talk about backhanded compliments, especially when you're talking about someone who knows that you're like intellectual,
Mm-hmm.
it's very sly. And it's
Yeah.
kind of like you have to be in tune with yourself to kind of know, otherwise your own mind will gaslight you, right? And people would think, and that's why I usually, other people who have been in like covert narcissistic abuse or any, usually relate more to people who understand, because you understand that experience, and that's how you get to
Mm.
relate. Otherwise you find yourself being victim shamed.
Yes. That's
But
right.
everything, but the mask fell around the time, I would say like 10 years in, around the time of COVID, the stimulus check, money will do it, right? You know how they say it's
Always.
always in the heart.
Always.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was. So I'm thinking like, okay, I have 6 children, well, five. I think I had six. Yeah, six, because this the baby was on the way, six at the time, and so it's like a large chunk of money. And like I had my cousin was getting married in Florida, and I'm telling my sister, "Oh, I'm gonna make kids in Florida. I'm gonna get half of that."
Yeah.
And then he was basically like, "Half? You're like grateful that you're getting your part." My mouth probably dropped open because I was like, "Who is this person?" I was
Oh my
completely
God.
shocked. I
Oh
was
my
so
God.
shocked. Um,
Girl.
I had to talk to my mom, his mother, to make sure I wasn't like losing my mind. And they was like, stay on guard. You supposed to get half. You are the parent. Like you. But then
Yes.
after some time, it came to a point. It was like a tantrum. It was like, you know what? Just take it all. I'll just take my part. Like it's just money. So I kind of gave out because I just like, it's just money. I ain't got time for this. Um, and
Wow.
I gave birth to my sixth child, and I had all of my kids naturally. But this was the birth
Uh,
that I actually felt, because I was still like in that bubble before. So even I felt everything, and I was wide awake through the transition phase
oh
and everything.
God.
And and the last 15 minutes, I was about to give up. The lady was like, fentanyl. And knowing what I knew about fentanyl, I was like, I don't care. Whatever. Do it anyway. I was like, really, I was like, this is the last baby anyway. It was in my mind, like, so whatever. So she gave me the fentanyl. And alhamdulillah, though, he came like 15 minutes, like right after. Because I had to use
SubhanAllah.
the bathroom for like hours. He was like on my bladder, and I just was like, the pain was unbearable. I was just like, I need to just take the edge off. Just take the
Wow.
edge off. So
I'm
I
getting
gave up.
shivers.
Yeah, but I didn't have any shame about that. Like, it was just like, I was in the moment. Things happened. MashaAllah, he's healthy. And
MashaAllah.
by the time he was, so now I already know in my head, like, I wanted to divorce. And so by the time he's 5 months old, I remember it was after Fajr. I probably still have the voice on my phone, and my voice was shaking. My voice was shaking.
Subhan.
And I think I started with a quote. It's like, sometimes you have to do things, it hurts your heart, but it's good for your mind or soul. I don't know. I don't remember the quote. And then I asked for a Kula, and then he was like quiet for like a couple of minutes, and then denied it. Denied. Talking about some, oh, that's why a Muslim woman are supposed to ask for a Kula or whatever. And I'm like, this is not an easy decision. I've been thinking about this for a year. I don't, but
Yes.
I've been thinking about like for a year, because I was feeling like I was a single parent already. It was just like,
Mm-hmm.
I was always romanticizing the idea of like being
Yes.
separate.
And also going
So
from the
yeah,
toxic home into the safe.
yeah. And this was, so I finally, asked, and then I started to seek out help like at masjids and communities, and they knew about like having children, and nobody wanted to help me. And then I finally found an imam who was like a therapist, so we both went. And I was like, I want to do an official divorce. But
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to try to keep us together. Oh, have patience. Oh, you have a baby, this and that. And he didn't take into account
Oh
the
God.
situation. So I was like, you know what? Just like F this stuff. And that's when I knew kind of everything shifted. I was like, maybe, I was like, if I'm going through this, that means a lot of other women are going through that. They end marriages they don't want to be. I'm going to have to just figure it out. And that's when I
Mm-hmm.
started sitting with myself and started
But
recognizing, oh, maybe this is my true purpose. Like to start to tell
mm-hmm.
people about hidden abuse and emotional abuse. And that's kind of like when my business started with this open collective. But it initially started with journals because I was journaling. That was my first
Yeah.
way to unsilence myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was starting to express myself through writing more. And so, and then it just kept evolving. Like as I grew and I got better and I
Uh,
evolved, it just kept evolving. And I was like, this is bigger than journals. This vision is starting to expand. And yeah, that's how I got to where I am now. And oh, and for my obsession with like holistic nutrition, I think that's what put me at an advantage because now I get to see that it's just not about holistic nutrition, but holistic wellness. And
yes.
so I also include spirituality because, be having that connection to Allah, your creator, and then quantum healing because understanding that it's just not our physical, it's
Yes.
not just our mental, but on a cellular level, so many things. But I know I skipped through a lot of stuff. I don't want to get too much into my my story
No,
right now.
no.
I'm definitely going to probably write my own book.
Oh, I love it when you
Inshallah, one
write
day,
your own.
one book, a few books for privacy reasons. Still,
Yeah,
don't want to get
I know.
too much
Yes.
into it. But yeah, you have people who look on the outside like humble and they're nice, they're kind to waitresses, maybe they're kind to mothers. So you think, oh, they're good, but then it's like
Mm-hmm.
behind closed doors, there's a secret envy and a secret competition, and I'm just like, whew, when I look back, the grit and resilience I have, like I was still just going forward. It was like, oh, you can't go to school because that's the thing. He said I couldn't go back to college because the intermingling with boys. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to women's college. Then it was like, oh, you can't go to all women's college because lesbianism or something. Like I think he knew a little bit of like my attraction. And then it was like, okay, I'm gonna do it online. I didn't really do it online because I'm a person who needs to be in there. I need to be
Yeah.
hands on, and I ask a lot of questions, so that didn't
Mm-hmm.
really work out. And then I got into bread baking. I even did babysitting. I was just doing all types of stuff. It was always something. And I was reading books, and then he would be like, oh, what book you reading now? And try to, or he told me I couldn't read certain books. Like, I still haven't read this book. I still want to read it. It was like Hamza Yusuf, because he started to become a person of was like,
Yes.
how they say, oh, that person is refuted, don't read from
Mm-hmm.
them. And Hamza Yusuf has a brain on him. He's into like homeopathy, medicine, and all of this stuff. He has quite a lot of interests I have. And it's like,
SubhanAllah.
so I get to read. Like, how you gonna tell me who to read from? And so a lot of things are like that, just to take away your power. And then,
Yes.
and when we talk about emotional, spiritual abuse, a lot of times it's financial abuse too. That's what keeps you tethered. And that was kind of when I look back in hindsight, it was like that was one of the ways to keep me there. Like, oh, she don't
Of
have the money,
course.
she can't go
And also
nowhere.
the kids and
She can't.
everything, like
And,
manipulation.
yeah, and it's
It's
like I
crazy
have
how,
6 children, right? And it's like
SubhanAllah.
I'm not going back to my parents' house.
But
um,
wow, Muslima,
so
like
alhamdulillah that
all the things you told me, like, girl, you
yeah,
have gone through so much. Like, Alhamdulillah that you are here, like shining your light and all the wisdom, because I can already imagine all the wisdom behind all these experiences that you have right now, and also for your
yeah,
children, like to give that to them and to know that, look, I have gone through this, so you won't go through the same, like, because
yeah,
when you use also your pain and you turn into power, that is so inspiring also for others. Wow, like,
yeah.
SubhanAllah, it's really amazing, the strength and the bravery that you have, and the fact
Mashallah.
that you're right now also like we are both laughing about these things and
Yeah.
smiling, but we know that
In the
back
moment, you know
then,
how it feels in that moment. Oh yeah.
yeah, back then it was not like this, but just right now we are looking at it from a different perspective.
Oh yeah. And then
It's
ooh,
it's
intrusive thoughts throughout it. Yeah.
it's
I've had some
because
thoughts.
maybe someone else listening to us right now can be listening from a different perspective.
Yeah.
You know, some maybe have judgments and can be judging about us right now. Some people can really feel it also because they are going through it maybe
Feel
right
that, yeah.
now. But we like kind of, we are not better or less than them. It's just that we have gone through that and we are looking right now from a perspective that we are healing and we are kind of accepting it, not finding it okay what happened, but accepting it that okay, this happened, we're gonna turn this pain into power. That's what we're doing right
Yeah.
now also with our podcast, to give power to those who don't have a voice or who want to use their voice. So like,
Yeah.
thank you so much for like saying all these things and really
You're
helping, I guess, a lot of people out there while
Yeah.
listening.
And yeah, when you're going through it, you feel so much. I probably skipped through some of those parts, but like I know you were mentioning about like suicidal thoughts and actually
Yes.
attempted for me, even though I didn't attempt anything, I just had a lot of thoughts and I was painfully self-aware. Just I, yeah, the way that I'm in my mind that I know like what happens, but
Yeah.
knowing that I want to do it, but knowing that I can't do it because I know like the repercussion, not just the repercussion, but it's just like I have this hold on reality, but I can
Yeah.
slip from it at the same
Yeah.
time. I don't know if that makes sense.
It's right.
Yeah, but there's been a plenty of times I romanticize being injured or hurt so I can be in a hospital just so I can have space away from the house or so I can be taken care of.
Yeah.
And I used to always that was a curse and a blessing to be healthy and to be holistic nutrition because it was like I was always doing something to keep myself like healthy. So I was just
But
like
that's like,
enduring it.
it's just a coping mechanism also from when we were being a child, because we never have been taken care of or been neglected, abused.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
trying
I
to
did a
kind of
lot.
get it on tension right now
Yeah,
from the things we couldn't.
yeah, I was just literally a machine. Like and just on autopilot. Like I'll go give birth and like I said, my daughter, she was born in the water, so that means you stay only for 3 hours. I went home. Usually the next day I'm cooking already.
SubhanAllah, you never took the time
Cooking,
to
just doing my
release
I
anything.
didn't none of my
Nina.
family came to see me. My parents never came for any of my births. I had 6 children. Never came for any of my births. I remember I think one of my parents saying one time, "Well, you the one who moved." No, or I think I actually had a sibling who said it, like, "You're the one who moved." Like it was my responsibility to go see them because I moved. So, but I went to go see them twice. Like my mother graduated and my sister graduated. It's always a one-sided thing sometimes. So I'm just grateful that I'm not over there. Just like the drama, I don't have time for it. So I just burnt a lot of stuff by myself. I don't think it even had a phone for a while, but I had social media. But I didn't have like much friends in person, so a lot of stuff I literally was just struggling on my own for years.
That
Just so
must
I
have
didn't
been
even
so
have any
hard.
sound. What is that? That's why it's good to have community and friends because you get to see, like, if you start to talk about your experience or a little something, somebody might check you like that don't sound right, you know. And so when
Yeah.
I even started talking about my experience, I didn't even recognize how bad it was until it started coming out of my mouth.
No, you
Or when
never
I was
shared
writing
it with
stuff,
someone.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, like, what? And still
Yes.
sometimes, even now, still sometimes things will come back in hindsight, like, oh wow, I didn't even know because I was just like in the moment, you know? It was
You're so
always like the small
strong.
little
Wow.
things, like yeah, and the people was like, "Oh, you asked for help," and I used to ask for help. Like, can you, like, you know, one time, like, can you help me fold the clothes? And it would just like laugh, no, like, you know, like what? So, like, you know, so yeah, but alhamdulillah, it's just it gets better, right? It's going, it gets better. Like,
You are
I was
such an
meant to go through
inspiration.
that path. Alhamdulillah, I was meant
Like,
to go through that path. And then I'm so grateful after, like, while I'm still in transition, while I was still in transition, I met a friend um, in the coaching world. And it was through her that I actually started to unearth a lot of the things, like
mhm.
start to healing my blind spots. Because before then, I was healing. I noticed it was more of intellectualizing my emotions,
Yes.
intellectualizing my healing. So I was still in my head a lot of times.
Hmm.
It wasn't through her that I started to get into my body. I think
Oh.
that was the first time that I think I started to start crying and stuff because I haven't was a person who never even cried. It was
Hmm.
like this stone, right? So I started to cry like with her and things. a lot of things start to resurface, like my sexuality, just who I was, the joy that was inside of
Everything,
me.
yeah.
Everything started to like, she was a mirror for all of the things that I forgot I was too. Unfortunately,
Uh,
that didn't last. But also my kids, I was homeschooling them too. Like I'm doing all of this, homeschooling them. And if she
Girl.
was like, oh, like, won't you put them in school? Because she was saying like homeschooling is an echo chamber, and like that's her beliefs. I have my beliefs, but I really liked the idea, and I took on to it. My sister said she told me before, but I probably wasn't listening to her. And I think I was like, she was like a dear friend to me. So I took that. She was like, oh, just try it out. Put them in there so you can get on your feet. You can start. So I put them in there, and I feel like that was the best decision. I'm so grateful that she opened my eyes to that. And it was a bunch of other things. But sometimes you need people in your life to open your
Yes,
mind
of course.
to a different perspective, to because sometimes you don't have the thoughts. That's why it's good to sometimes we think we just need healing, but we just need different experiences. We need to
Yes.
read books. We need to go to different places. We need to open our minds and expand our perspective, because otherwise we don't know exists. You know, like some people never left their own hometown. It's like you have to travel the world and see the
Yes.
bounty and the abundance of things around you.
I love how you say that some people really do bring these things out of you, and I not guess, but I know for sure that everyone we meet in our life is there for a reason. It is
Yeah,
maybe either to give us a lesson, or like to show us who we really are, or to give us a mirror to what we are keeping hidden inside. And that is sometimes also like the moment where we keep getting all these things on the surface again, because they
yeah,
remind us that, look, maybe I'm going through the same things. And then you kind of get also that courage, that support to say also that, hey, I've been going through this too. And then I guess that connection helps, and you no longer feel isolated. You no longer feel
yeah. You
that you
feel
don't belong
supported.
anywhere or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
it is really, even maybe if you end up things not in good terms, I still am grateful for certain people that really taught me a lot of things.
I'm so grateful. Even like when I don't, I always have gratitude for that, because it's like a law placed them in my life for a reason. It's like I learned so much through that. And it's
Yeah.
like they're a portal. Oh my goodness, I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting emotional.
Oh, oh, giving virtual
Because
hug.
that was such oh, excuse
Oh, my
me.
dear. I'm giving you a virtual hug.
Thank you. That was, I think, also because that was the first person who saw me beneath my mask. Like
I know.
I always put on this smile, and
Yes.
people just don't see behind it. And
No.
yeah.
You always think that you're smiling, you're happy, you're...
So yeah, there was just so much there. Oh my goodness, we both have our moments. I was not expecting that.
But we are only doing
Ooh.
this because we're both neurodivergent and we
Yeah,
feel safe with each other. Because I know in front of others, maybe we don't share our tears so easily, but we are going really deep here. So I appreciate everything you shared with me here. And I know
yeah,
that you have been strong for too longer, like doing all these
yeah.
things on your
And that
own,
pain was
girl.
ugly. That pain was ugly, but this was a beautiful pain because it was like the transition. You have that breakthrough
Yes.
moment, that other side, like that transition between from there to your other side. And it's like you can see once you start to visualize that it's not punishment, but it's more of like
Yes.
purification of who you are, a
Yeah.
refinement of who you are. This is not being done to you, but it's being done for you. It's
Life
like through
life
that
doesn't
realization.
happen
Yeah,
to you, it happens
the
for you, as
for
the
you.
neurons say. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful realization to have that mindset, like, because you start to see stuff differently, and then it helps you like to persevere, to continue to go through. That is not all for nothing. That something is greater on the other side, even if you don't know what it is yet.
So beautiful, this all these transformations and these new dimensions we enter.
Yeah,
And like, yeah, I can also imagine it this way, that when you are healing, or when you come, like, there is not an end in healing because it's always ongoing and you always keep learning more and more. But I mean, when you have done already a lot of healing, I can sometimes really visualize that I'm sitting on a table with all my older versions, with the version who had, as you said, to act strong, that teenager version of me,
yeah,
that young mom version of me, that version that was going through postpartum, like all these personate, like all these different versions of me sitting with me on table. They all helped me in one way or
Yeah.
another. They all had their own survival skills. And they taught me so many things, and I saw also so many things, because when you are in the darkest time, you know who has been there with you the first day, or you see who truly loved you unconditionally. You see all these things clearer now. And like, it's also, I'm grateful for those people who truly stayed even while seeing all these versions of me, and never
Yeah.
got sick and tired of it. And I guess also that is kind of the fear of us being vulnerable, that we think that once I show my tears, once I show my soul really naked, as I can say, then they will leave me, because we are
Yeah.
taught that our parents, maybe they really left us when we made mistakes, when we, as you said, when we did mistakes, maybe in college or whatever. Like, in their eyes, we were not lovable anymore. So we kind of keep with that feeling, and we think that, oh yeah, the next person who's going to meet me and I show weakness, or I do a mistake, they're going to leave me, they're going to like hate me, I'm not lovable anymore, they're going to neglect me, and all these other questions and fears we go through. But it's really beautiful to have still people who see through you and say that, no, I want to stay.
Yeah.
Whatever you have, whatever you're going through. And that's, I think, also the most beautiful kind of love. It's not
It
always
is.
man and woman. For me, it's also people, like, just that, even strangers. For me, also, strangers have helped me a lot. It's not always your family, it's not always
Yes.
your friends. Even strangers have said to me things that I still keep with me until now. It was maybe a nurse in a hospital, it was maybe one therapist that I once met, or even one person that I met on an event. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So many people could touch our souls in so many ways, and love is all around us. Yeah.
And don't you feel like as if God is sending them to send you messages?
Yeah, like, or angels sometimes. When we think about the angels of the unseen,
Yes,
like
subhanallah.
sometimes like you almost got into an accident, or the way an accident happened, or
Yeah,
just how certain things happen, like how you were protected. Like, if we understand
subhanallah.
that there's so many things happening on the unseen, that we
Yeah,
are being divinely protected. Like, to
yeah,
have belief
because
in that,
yes, because
you know?
sometimes we keep, especially as neurodivergent, I've had this a lot in the past, where I kept overthinking this what if, what if, what if. And then, alhamdulillah, Islam gave me so much peace by knowing that Allah did not give it to you because He knew why. He had a reason, like He's
Yeah.
protecting you. And I also love this beautiful quote that says, God heard conversations you didn't hear, and God saw things you didn't see.
Yeah.
Like, that's so beautiful, and I really believe that, because I think that this is okay what I saw, but I also don't know what they truly felt for me, or what they truly thought about me behind the scenes. And
Yeah.
of course, God knows that. So yeah, He protected us for sure in every situation
What
that
a
kind
beautiful
of got
place.
delayed, or we did not get what we wanted. There was a reason for it. And even the job that I left when I got into illness, if I had continued with that job, I wouldn't be the coach I'm today. So I'm thankful
Yeah.
that I left that job, and now I am here for other women. So,
Yeah.
like, alhamdulillah for everything.
Yeah. And even though the safety is in our bodies, that mindset about, like, just knowing, like you said, that you're protected. And I think
Yes.
once we start to reframe our mind to ask questions, that is more productive. Not like, why is this happening for me, but what is this teaching me?
Mhm.
What am I being shown here? And because you start to, sometimes it's a pattern, like, that it's being shown that you need a break. There's a pattern here, and you need to break that pattern. Or because a lot of times we are deflecting, right? Like,
Yes.
we're blaming everything else outside of us. Sometimes a lot of us are conducive to our own suffering. Like, how am I being
Yes.
involved in my own suffering? It ends with us, right? The silence. Even though I was into, like, holistic nutrition, there was always stuff like my body was trying to tell me. But I always thought it was my health, right? Because I didn't know about
Mhm.
mental and spiritual health and all of that.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I need another detox. I need to do this detox, and I need to try raw food for it. And it was just like, I was doing the most
Yeah,
when
we
it came
ignore
to that.
the inner
Yeah.
part.
I did not know until I got into the marriage, and then when I was like split wide open, spiritual, going through my own spiritual awakening, that's when it was like, oh, when you felt like that's my soul. Like, I've been living at the surface, like this is my soul, like my heart talking here. This is what I've been missing. Like I didn't know. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing and a grateful thing to come back home to yourself, to recognize it's more than just like your physical or your mental. You have emotional beings, we're
More
spiritual
than
beings,
that.
and all of that. And that was a whole another world. And it's like, a lot of people don't even know about that. So how they feel, because we are disconnected from ourselves.
Yeah,
And
it's really
so that's the
important.
first part of like unsilencing yourself. You got to reconnect. A lot of us, I was disconnected from myself. A lot of people are disconnected. And so that's our mission here, right? To start to get people to start to
Yes.
reconnect back to themselves, because you reconnect to yourself, you reconnect to your creator, you get to reconnect to other people.
Yes, of
Um,
course.
and your health improves because you're no longer silent and you're suppressing. You get to express yourself in the creative ways
Yeah.
that you were meant. We are co-creators on this earth. Like we have divine wills. We get to create so many different things, art, beauty, whatever. And like we said, we transforming that pain into power. You're transmuting your wounds into wisdom. This is
Yes.
alchemy. Like this is literally,
It's so beautiful. Like we can release all these negative emotions and all
yeah,
this negative energy that has been draining us like
yeah,
the whole years. So like that is what we're also trying to say to you who are listening, that please start with feeling things, everything, even the ugly, the most painful emotions, and that we not use work, other people, or whatever to kind of cope with it. It's better to confront
yeah,
the fear instead of running away from it, because if you keep running away from it, your body will choose one day in your life and say that this is it. Otherwise you fall sick, or you will have a mental breakdown, or whatever. Like it will show you one day that I have enough, I cannot do it anymore for
yeah.
you.
Your
So then you
body's
have to
always
listen.
talking. Yeah.
Then you
Yeah.
will
It's
have
like
to
your soul
listen.
is screaming to you. That's it. Like you listen to me now. Like it starts.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll get shown the same lesson over and over until like they have memes on that. Like,
Yeah.
you throwing, David did say like the universe is throwing a rock at you or something. Like, cause you're not paying attention. Like,
Yes, and
but,
our guardian angels, so you didn't listen. And
yeah.
so,
Yeah. And then you have, but you have to feel it. And I think a lot of us are just escaping the feel it because the pain is so heavy. And especially when
yes.
you suppress it, that means that pain is already still there. So you're suppressing pain on top of pain. And it's
But
just like
yeah.
becomes so insurmountable. Just kind of like they feel like
Hmm.
they're going to be suffocated by their own pain. It does kind of feel
Yeah.
suffocating in the beginning, but being able to just like soften. And that's why sometimes you just need to be having other people to help you with that. Or I say nature.
Of
I like to
course.
include nature
Of
therapy because I
course.
didn't have anyone. And nature was there for me, alhamdulillah, for me to soften into the ground or to the trees. Thank you all for listening.
Yeah. So
Thank you
thank you
all.
all
So,
for
yeah,
listening.
stay tuned for our next one. We're going to go into what it is to be neurodivergent, talk about
Yes.
all things neurodivergence. Because this is podcast about two neurodivergent Muslim women, and I know some
Yes.
people may be curious, what does it mean to be neurodivergent?
Yeah.
We
And
will
why are
tell
we
you.
different?
Yeah. So we will get into that, inshallah.
So thank
Um,
you so much, also, Muslimah, for sharing all your beautiful wisdom, all the lessons, the wisdom, and everything, because you for sure move someone's heart and you touch someone deepest soul. So thank you so much for being here and sharing your value every single day.
you're most certainly welcome. And thank you, Arsida. Thank you. You add a different element, layer of your culture, I'm sure. You're touching hearts too for those in your culture or not to see. And I know there's so much we could talk about later on, but
Yeah.
to be vulnerable takes a lot of courage. So thank you too. I really
But
appreciate it.
we are doing the part so others can do it too.
Yes. Stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the.musida.podcast. Our audio will be on Spotify. This is Spotify.
Yes.
Or
Yeah,
the
Spotify.
video version on
Yeah.
YouTube, the full video version on YouTube. Yeah,
We can
share
wait.
with your friends, share with family, because the more we unsilence each other, the more we unsuppress, the more we break the cycle as a collective.
That's right. And also, if you have any feedback, if you have any questions, please feel free to share it with us. or if you want to be like a guest on our podcast and share more your light, we welcome you with a lot of pressure.
Yeah, your stories is a safe place for you to, if you want to unsilence yourself on the podcast, feel free to.
Yes.
And like she said, leave comments on it. You can leave comments on YouTube, leave comments on Spotify, Instagram. We don't bite. We don't. All right, assalamu alaikum. Bye.
Indeed, God will not change the condition of people until they change what is in themselves.
Trauma is not your fault, but healing is your responsibility. Change starts with you.